I am Hella Mark Harley, and we are going to start off this episode right off the bat addressing the controversy that many of you have already probably become aware of. Yesterday on The Fighter and the Kid, I showed a clip of Andrew Tate that didn't go over well. So, Casey, if you don't mind, let's just cue that up and play it right now so you people can decide for yourself.
You can recite pi to 200 decibels. That's nice. But you look like a geek. So who gives a fuck? Because you ain't gonna get laid. You know when the club start reciting pi to a hoe? It's the worst game I've ever seen.
Reciting pi to a hoe. Now, obviously, this is just objectively funny because Andrew Tate is shitting on a 12-year-old or 11.
Mark.
Hey.
Who are you giving hate of the week to?
Oh, I was actually going to give it to Brendan and Brian for hating on this Andrew Tate clip.
Interesting.
I didn't know you were even going to be here. That's.
I'll be right back. I'm going to go tell Brendan.
No, don't do that. Dude, Jay, I thought we were cool. What the? Dude, you think you're friends with somebody and then they just. Did you tell him I was going to do this?
Well, no, but I did see him standing there, which I thought was alarming.
Oh, my. And I didn't even see. I guess my peripherals are a little bit off because I can't. It's like I was so hyper-focused on this Andrew Tate video and just my career in general that I couldn't even see what was in my blind spot, which was a snake in the grass ratting me out. It's like I was going to tell Brendan to do his hate of the week. I just didn't get around to it yet. Anyway, this brings up a more interesting conversation about Andrew Tate. And there's so much to pick apart. However, I just wanted to take one little thing that I've been noticing when people discuss Andrew Tate. The one phrase, and maybe Casey, you can already think of this, but here's what they'll phrase anytime Andrew Tate comes up in conversation, guys go, I don't agree with everything he says. Before anything that he said has actually been discussed, they go, I don't agree with everything he says. Now, if you agree with everything another person says, to me, that would be the problem, right? I hope you guys don't agree with everything that I say. You know, like when I say I microdose mushrooms this morning, I hope not everybody is doing that, but you know, if that works for you, I hope that you're doing it. Now, I am putting this screenshot up here because a friend of mine, a guy named Connor, my freshman year roommate at Pomona College, who's very intelligent. He's a Marine Corps officer. So he was a JAG lawyer in the Marine Corps. After he went to law school, he recently graduated business. He went to Notre Dame Law School. He went to Georgetown Business School. So he's an accomplished academic in the sense that he's made it through school, not that he has a PhD and writes dissertations or contributes to the academic literature. But he's a smart guy who thinks. Now, if we scroll down that page just a little bit more, he goes, have you heard this? And this is his interview with Patrick Bet-David, which I do think is a good channel, and he has good interviews. I think he's a good interviewer and has eclectic perspectives on there. Have you heard this? He's so interesting. Don't agree with him, but he's smart for sure. And so I just went out of my way to say, what do you disagree with him about? And trying to not come off as confrontational or saying that I agree with it. Like before I watch, I haven't watched it, but just let me know. And I thought his response was interesting. I agree with his perspective on free speech, and I think he's highly intelligent. I think most of my disagreement is likely more on form than content. He's so quick to say brash, wild shit, sort of Trump-like, but he's actually super intelligent. So when he's pushed on those points, unlike Trump, he responds with very intelligent analysis on human nature. So upon reflection, I mostly just disagree with him so far on style, and I think I'm a little more optimistic about the virtues of human nature. He's deaf from the streets and has this ruthless, honest appraisal of human nature. I've never heard him more than a 10-second clip. I never hear more than a 10-second clip from him, and he really surprised me. I love it when people surprise me. And at the end of the day, I think Connor, what I continue to love about him is the fact that he's very open-minded and positive, while also being, actually, this is a good personality segue. He's an ESTJ. Oftentimes I would butt heads with people who are ESTJs because they're very rule-oriented. They're very like, this is the way things should be done. It should be traditional. It should be according to a certain bureaucratic process. They want things organized. You know, you can imagine me and a person like that living in a 6x6 cell in college having some conflict, but we worked through it. Funny story. I remember one time I was taking a nap. I had the worst sleep when I was a freshman. I had a job over the summer that I had to get up at like 4 a.m. to go train people at the YMCA a few days of the week, and then the other days I was trying to hang out with my friends. So I'd like stay up till 3 and then like wake up at 4 and try to get on the schedule. I was napping the day, and it just messed me up for like literally like a year, and I didn't understand like how to get back on this. Now, was I also taking norandrostene, and that might have been an issue too? Yes, but that's a separate discussion. Because although I feel like those things didn't work, I feel like it like messed with my temperament and hormones potentially. So even when things don't work, they can still mess up your hormones. But one time he had left this like reading lamp on, like a halogen lamp on, and left the room like he was studying with it, and I was trying to sleep. Now this actually was at night. It wasn't during the day, but instead of turning it off, I put his sheet on top of it. Like I was like, let me just cover this with a comforter, because that's like, that's less rude somehow than actually just turning off the person's lamp. And then I woke to him coming back in the room, and also like, the smell in the air of a burning lycra or whatever the hell it was, polyester, through the sheet. And it's something that he'll never let me forget. But I appreciate that, because it was a funny moment that, I could have woken up to actual flames, like, engulfing our dorm room. But I didn't. We caught it just in time. Ha, 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 ha. Crazy kids doing their thing. So that's what I have to say as far as Connor on Andrew Tate. And I agree that it's an interesting thing where somebody becomes controversial, or they become canceled, or, even the way that we use language about him, instead of saying like, I agree with him on this, people say, well, I don't agree with everything, right? It's like this big cautionary move. And then when pressed on it, now I think that's a more reasonable stance to take, is that he doesn't like his style, essentially. So as far as the points he makes, he's like, I'm more optimistic about human nature. But as far as like the main issue that he has is the delivery. And like with that video or whatever, I thought it was funny because he obviously being sarcastic or over the top to a degree. And it's like a commentary on like, if you were just watching that clip in isolation, you'd be like, oh, this guy is a dumbass, or he's a thug, or he hates kids, or something like that. But it's like, it's a kernel of truth that's exaggerated. I know he doesn't actually feel that way about kids, but it's just so surprising to hear somebody like rip an 11-year-old for memorizing pi to 200 decimal places, because we don't normally hear that. Everything is applauded. So I think it's funny to shit on kids sometimes, is the takeaway from this segment.